Just got a little anecdote for you. Yesterday, I ran into some viewers and I was like, okay, of all the cars you've seen here today, which one are you buying? And three guys separately, they all said EX-30. So I was like, there's a lot of cars here, let's be honest. There's a huge competition here, but there's something about that EX-30 that is captivating a lot of people's mind share.
This is the only one in the country, and It's actually going on a multi-city tour. This is actually the first stop for it, and it'll be heading out to the West Coast and beyond.
First of all, congrats for bringing it here.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing. I'm so happy I beat Kyle to the punch, at least seeing it here in the States. Now I know he's seen it over in Europe and was really impressed with the car.
What's nice about EX90 and having EX30 here as well is it allows for bookends in this future lineup that we have. You know, you have that entry level product with the EX30 starting under $35,000. And then the EX90 here, that flagship family 7-seat SUV, well-equipped under $80,000.
Welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave, where today I find myself again at Electrify Expo here on Long Island, Nassau County, this is the Coliseum. This first thing we're going to be talking about today, which is Volvo. And we're going to be interviewing Tyler Salomon, who is basically the lead guy from Volvo with the product launch here. They've got an amazing display. They see the EX-30, the first one in the entire country. So let's get into it today. Let's take a brief tour of the overall display that Volvo has put in here. Huge commitment on Volvo's part. And not only that, we're going to do a deep dive into the EX-30, which I think looks sweet. So stick with me and let's get into it. So Tyler, thank you so much for spending time with me today. How's the event? I know this is day 2 of the event. How's the event going so far for you?
You know what? It's day 2 of the event. Yesterday was phenomenal. We had a huge turnout yesterday. We had so many guests coming to check out our stand, our test drives. So we're thrilled to be here at the Electrify Expo in New York.
Listen, I just want to kind of give you the opportunity to take us through, not only me, but all of our viewers, what you're doing here. Why are you here? What is it about this event? And more importantly, what are you showing off today here and how are you doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Volvo, we've been involved in the Electrify Expo ever since the first one back in 2021. So for us, you know, what we found is that the consumers that are here, they're all for electrification. Volvo has our plans to be a fully electric car company by 2030. The guests that are coming to this program, they are excited for electric vehicles, and for us, it's a great opportunity to show us not only what we currently have in our lineup, but our future. And that's where it's exciting to be able to actually show in the New York Expo for the more or less public debut, the Volvo EX-30, our espresso shot of Volvo, this subcompact all-electric SUV.
That's great you brought this car with us, and I do want to come back to a little bit more of a deeper dive, but what else have you brought here today?
So, you know, what we brought here today is a really nice view of the Volvo all-electric lineup. So actually, if you look down this way here, these are all of the battery electric Volvos that are in the lineup and are coming to the lineup. So to have all 4 of these cars today is actually exciting. It's one of the first times we've had this group of cars all together. So of course we have EX-30 starting off. We have the C40 Recharge, XC40 Recharge, and then down on the end, that's our next all-new product, which we see here as well, the all-electric Volvo EX-90, that flagship 7-seat electric SUV that will be coming next year as well, proudly built at our facility in South Carolina.
Wow, that is it, and it looks beautiful. How different is that from the gas-powered XC90 in terms of the body, the frame, the structure of the car, or is it just an electrification of that? Because I really don't know much about it.
So it is actually quite similar in terms of proportions of what we see in the current XC90. One of the biggest things is that XC90 and EX90 will live side by side of each other. So XC90 will continue to have plug-in hybrid and mild hybrid variants, and then EX90 will be the all-electric, you know, 7-seat flagship that we're going to have in our lineup. So the 2 cars will live side by side, which is actually very exciting for our customers to have that product offer together.
Right. And then I noticed you brought the C40,
yes,
and also the XC40.
Yeah, you know, the 40 series for us, you know, has been very customer focused. You know, when you go inside those vehicles, you have so much customer convenience, from the deep door pockets to the removable trash can, which is always a highlight of our guests. So, you know, those cars for us us, and those were the first two cars that we had our all-electric platforms on. So for us, it was really the start of this all-electric future that Volvo has coming.
Right, right. Well, let's take a walk down the line.
Absolutely.
And I like this color blue. I don't generally like blue cars, Tyler. I don't know why, but this one looks pretty sweet with the blacked out trim. And of course you got the snowboard on the top. Here it is, August. You know, I like that touch.
So Fjord Blue is the color for the C40. This has been, you know, the launch color of this car since it came out. And honestly, I'm a blue fan. So for me to see this car in this color is actually fantastic. And one thing we wanted to highlight at Volvo is that, you know, when you have an electric car, these are active cars. These are, you know, crossovers and SUVs. So we wanted to highlight some of our accessories on our battery electric cars to, you know, have people be able to envision, you know, what it would be like living with a all-electric car.
All right, right. Yeah, no, that looks great. And the main difference between the XC40 and the C40, could you just highlight that for our audience?
Really, when we look at the C40, it has that design focus to it. So you see that crossover sloping roofline that we have there, a very unique taillight design that we have here that has a welcome and closing sequence on it, which is at night, it's very, very unique. The C40 very much is design focused on it. So even when you go inside the interior and you look at the dash, you have the topographical map, which is backlit with LED lights. And then the XC40 Recharge, they are built on the same CMA platform. So in terms of what you find in terms of the high voltage battery, those are the same on the two. But XC40, you have more of that traditional SUV styling in the back, so that squared off back end.
Right, right. And I noticed you didn't put the rear wiper on the C40, whereas on the XC40 you did. Is that just because of the airflow? Maybe you don't need it as much?
You know, the aerodynamics on this car are one thing that our designers really took into account. So we wanted to make sure that with that spoiler, you know, we had that nice, smooth transition for the airflow, so that way we didn't have too much holding this back. When we're looking at the range on these two cars, you know, these are both 23 model years, 226 miles on C40 Recharge, 223 miles on the XC40 Recharge. We have some upgraded powertrains that are coming for 24 model year, including two rear-wheel drive variants that get actually a nice little powertrain increase on it as well. So we're excited to have those come out later this year.
Right. Tell me a little bit about the charging on these. Am I correct in thinking these will peak charge at about 150 kilowatts, but they've got a real good curve, so they'll charge you know pretty quickly, even though the peak charge is not necessarily as fast as one would think. You know, and let's say an EA CCS, you can charge up to 350 kilowatts.
Right.
But is that right, that this is about peak charge about 150? Yeah,
correct. So when it comes to DC fast charging on both of these vehicles, 150 kilowatts on DC charging is the peak that you'll get out of this car. Again, when we're looking at that, you know, fast charging time, 10 to 80% in optimal conditions, you're looking at about 35 minutes of charge, which, again, when you look at where these fast chargers are located, you know, major shopping centers, go in, get a bite to eat, be able to charge up your car, that's where a lot of the convenience comes into it.
Right, right. All right, so the spec on this XC40, this is, what color is this, Tyler?
This is sage green. So when we first launched the XC40 Recharge, this was one of the halo colors that we had for it. And frankly, it looks fantastic.
I love it. I really love it. And are those cloth seats inside? Because
so
really nice.
Very intuitive of you to notice that, but they're actually our Taylor wool blend seats. So they're actually not cloth. It's sustainably sourced wool that we use within the interior. And again, from a design aspect, I think they look fantastic.
I do too.
And think about it from the summertime as well. You know, you're not going to be absorbing that heat like you would with leather. So they're actually quite cool, even in the hot temperatures that we can get in the summer.
Right. No, that is sweet. And look at this over here. My goodness.
Absolutely.
I am in love. Kathy, please don't look at this car. That's my wife. We've been out. We're always looking at cars, Tyler. And this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous car. I love the headlight trim, how you've got all these little rectangular LED lights.
Ultimate Thor's hammer. It's a brand new kind of Thor's hammer design for our future flagship, the EX-90. It has such a strong stance to it as well. And again, that comes when you are looking at it from the flagship SUV standpoint. You've got 7 seats within the vehicle itself. You notice the wool blend in the previous car. This is actually a new interpretation of that wool blend that we have here in the EX90. So not only do we have the wool blend on the inside, but we also have a new material called Nordico, which is a leather-like material, but it is sustainably made. And, you know, for us, this is the halo spec car. So anytime you've seen imagery of the EX90 to this point, it's Vapor Gray, which is a brand new color for Volvo as well. So this launch color of Vapor Gray is quite nice. And, you know, for us to have EX90 and EX30 here, it's the bookends.
I just noticed soft closed doors.
That's right.
Oh,
yeah.
baby.
What's nice about EX90 and having EX30 here as well is it allows for bookends in this future lineup that we have. You know, you have that entry level product with the EX30 starting under $35,000, and then the EX90 here, that flagship family 7-seat SUV, well equipped under $80,000. So for us, it's exciting to see the future and how it's coming together with this electrified journey.
Right, right. Take me around back. I'm curious about the storage in there. This is a 7-seater. I guess does it come standard as a 7-seater, or is that going to be an option? So
at launch, we're going to have it standard with 7 seats. One thing that we've done this year, which any XC90 owner that has a 7-seat car as well will be happy to see. Power folding third row.
Look at that.
It's a nice added convenience we've been able to add to the customers. But again, with an EV, you have deep storage as well. So even under here, you can fit a moderately sized backpack down here. You see the depth that's down here.
That's really deep.
So that's quite nice.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we've done, which I think is one of my favorite Easter eggs on this car, is, you know, especially in summertime, all these deals at Costco, end of summer sales, and maybe this year is the time that you get one of those, you know, nice backyard fire pits, which fantastic, so excited. But is it gonna fit? I mean, I've got other things in my car, is it gonna fit in there? Well, we've thought about that. So etched into the back of the tailgate is our Will It Fit guide. The Will It Fit guide actually will tell you the measurements of the length of the cabin, width and height of your main opening. So you can leave that tape measure at home. You've got all those key measurements for you.
You know, that's such a simple thing.
And
so smart.
And we have that also in our EX30 too. So again, we're thinking ahead when it comes to that.
Tyler, be honest, that was your idea to put that in there.
No, right? I can't take credit for that, but it is honestly one of my favorite Easter eggs that you can find in the EX90.
I love that. I love that. That is just spectacular. And these, this looks like it's set up with some pretty aggressive wheel tire combo there.
22-inch wheels on it. Again, a very aerodynamic design when it comes to these. And that's one thing that our designers looked at when it came to making sure that our vehicles are as efficient as possible. You wanted to have those flush inserts.
Right, right. Well, great. I love it. C40, XC40, EX90. But can we go over and spend 5 minutes on the EX30?
Absolutely.
And just talk about, I want to pick your brain a little bit about that piece. All right, so here I am inside a gorgeous bus, and this just isn't any ordinary bus because I got my buddy Tyler here with me from Volvo. Tyler, what is going on in here? This is gorgeous.
Thank you. This is the Volvo Mobile Studio. So this is a brand experience space that we at Volvo have as an asset that we can bring to programs like the Electrify Expo, where guests can learn even more about the brand and the products. So today what we actually have is our EX30 immersion. So in here, guests will be able to learn even more in-depth information about the car with our product specialists. They'll be able to really get close to some of these things. So these are the 5 paint options that are going to be coming on EX30. So guests can actually pick up these paint samples, kind of see how they look in the light, and also check out some of the color materials while learning even more information about the car, where it would be hard to get all that information outside around the vehicle itself. This is a very one-on-one white glove experience that the guests can go through.
Right. Quick question, are those colors unique to the EX30 or are they across different models?
Great question. So a couple of the colors are very unique. One specific to EX30 alone is this one here, which I think looks fantastic. It's moss yellow.
Wow.
So this is a brand new color that's going to be offered on the vehicle there.
Is that a metallic to it? Or is it a flat?
It's got metallic to it.
Yeah,
which is nice.
That's a cool color.
Cloud blue is what we've seen on all of the launch material, and including the car that's outside. We have onyx black, vapor gray, which vapor gray we had seen on EX-90. And then of course, so we have vapor gray and then we have crystal white. So you have these options here.
Okay.
Now, as guests go through the experience, you know, they're gonna learn more about the exterior design of the vehicle. But then when it comes to the actual interiors of the car itself, you know, the EX-30 is one of our most sustainable Volvos to date. And we have these different rooms that are here. So mist, pine, breeze, indigo. These are all of the room color material options that you'll see inside of the EX-90. So how we have it set up within these boxes here. So we'll take a look at breeze. Breeze is what's on the halo color outside. So you can see and pick up and feel this is the actual Nordico material, and then the textile is on the inside. So this color combination is available with the cloud blue, onyx black, vapor gray, and crystal white. So these boxes also allow for you to kind of configure that EX-30, you know, within your own mind. Again, same thing with pine and mist as we're looking here. So as we look on the screens here, we're going through all the different interior options that you can find on the EX-30. And the other thing that we've done with this car, which I think is very exciting, is our ambient lighting. So we have 5 different ambient lights that you can see inside of the EX-30 itself. Northern lights, midsummer, just to name a few. And again, you can see that configuration on the screen here. So in this space here, we try to allow the guests to pick up and feel the materials that, you know, are on their EX-30, and many of them are deposit holders. So for them, it's a great opportunity to kind of think about, well, what do I want my EX-30 to look like? This is, you know, one of the first times we have them on display for guests to interact with within this EX-30.
Well, listen, it's all new, right, Tyler? I mean, it's what a fantastic rollout and a great way to do this. What are these color combinations up here on the wall? Are these just for all the other cars?
Yeah, these are our legacy colors that we have. Okay. So, you know, when you look at Fusion Red, when you look at Fjord Blue, Sage Green, iconic colors that we have for like our 40 series cars. This just, again, just, you know, allows for us to show the wider color scheme across our current lineup as well.
That makes sense. Really, really great display here. Thank you so much for the tour. Can we stop the bus thing and get out there and look at the car now? Because I'm super excited to check this out.
Let's go check it out.
All right, let's go. So what can you tell me about this car?
So for this again, we like to call our espresso shot of Volvo. So everything that you'd expect in a Volvo from a safety perspective, really in this subcompact all-electric SUV. So we're very excited to have this within our lineup. This is our smallest ever SUV. So this is the smallest SUV within the Volvo lineup, current and future. And you know what I like most about this is that the proportions of this car are very strong. When you sit inside the cabin, you do feel that SUV height. You know, you actually feel quite roomy in there, which is something that I was very, you know, happy about when I first sat in the car. But you see just that updated design language. You know, you see it with the updated Thor's hammer design on the front, and then that new welcome sequence design with the taillights as well. So the vertical taillights, we still keep traditional within this car itself. In terms of, you know, what we have, you know, on offer here, you know, the battery pack on this is a 69 kilowatt hour battery. It can accept up to 153 kilowatts of DC fast charging. In the optimal charging times, you're looking between 10 to 80% in about 26.5 minutes. Again, for a car like this, that's great. This does have 2 variants of it. So there is a rear-wheel drive version and also an all-wheel drive version. Both of those will be offered in the States. For the rear-wheel drive version, we're projecting, again, still waiting on official numbers, but projecting up to 275 miles on the rear-wheel drive and 265 for the all-wheel drive variant of this car. So again, we're very excited to include this within the lineup itself.
Are you going to be shipping this with the NACS integrated, or are you going to be doing CCS with adapter at launch?
So it's going to be coming with the CCS at launch. You know, once everything is set up with the Tesla timeframe where we can access the supercharger network, an adapter will be able to come into play with this car. But at launch, you'll still have CCS combo.
Okay, and I know these things are moving targets, but can you comment on approximately when you think this might be coming to market? And by the way, this is going to be a global launch. So that's, I would imagine you guys must be just super busy trying to figure out which countries and when and how many and all of that stuff. But if you can comment on dates, that would be great. If you can, I understand.
Yeah, so we are projecting to have this in customers' hands and retailers in 2024. Unfortunately, we can't give specifics otherwise, but stay tuned and we're going to have more information to reveal.
Right. From my looking at the car, it appears to have a lot of really good room, and the glass roof is large too, so it's got to be, just sticking my head in there earlier, it seems like it's extremely, has an open, airy feel to it,
yeah.
which I like.
And I mean, myself at a 6-foot frame, I feel very comfortable. Like I can get myself into my driving position and even sit behind it, and it's tight, but of course, with a subcompact SUV, you would expect that.
Yeah.
But even still, I felt comfortable back there.
Yeah. No, that's great. Well, listen, this is truly a great launch that you have going on here today. The bus, the way you can spec out the cars and show people the different color interiors, like we talked about earlier. Yeah. I mean, just a phenomenal display. You got the coffee going on over there, and it's
Absolutely.
not Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You got fancy stuff going on
Absolutely.
in there, which is.
So we have our Fika Cafe, which we have operational. And again, in Swedish culture, Fika actually stands for coffee break. So for us, to have that time of the day for coffee is always a great thing. So we want to extend the opportunity to our guests that are participating in some of our Volvo offerings here. So whether it's our immersion experience or our test drive. So you can get Americanos, cappuccinos, lattes, espresso shots. And again, that espresso shot of Volvo, how poignant is it to have the EX-30 here with the coffee trailer?
Well, Tyler, I want to thank you so much for this awesome tour today. Yeah, love the fact you brought all these rigs here. This is a true commitment on your part. So thanks again for coming here and making it easy for me, because I live just up the road in Connecticut. So this was an easy one.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming out to the Volvo stand at the Electrify Expo. We were so happy to have you here.
Absolutely. So thanks again for watching another episode of Out of Spec Dave.